Like, you could always look yourself in the mirror for the rest of your life and know when Eric Tolentino needs to put his mind to something, he can do it. Always. And that's something that you could achieve by going after this. Is from here on out, you will always have that self-confidence that when the chips are down, no matter what, you can always count on yourself for this stuff. So I want you to realize these are some of the different items that you would gain by doing $10,000 or more in your first 10 days. Is this something that, like, I mean, still that you're excited about shooting for? Okay, all right. By the way, if it's not something, I don't want to spend the time on this, but all right, very cool. Well, here's what I want to do is I want to cover with you a plan for you to achieve it. And what I typically do is I pick one person, like I said, and we cover a specific way for you to achieve it. And there's certain things that I'm going to go through that are expectations that you're going to have to do to really be able to achieve this. I guess first off, I'd like to kind of go through your numbers. So right now, how much have you sold so far? $2,500. And how many orders have you gotten to sell 2,500? 6 orders. And what was the number of demos again? Was it 8 demos? Okay. So there's a couple things that are things to consider. One of them is this. So, and here's something that you're always going to look at from here on. You're going to want to know what your average order is. And your average order, in essence, is how much you sold divided by the number of orders. So right now, for instance, your average order is about $400, give or take a couple bucks. And then the other number that we're going to always look at is what's called your closing percentage. And what a closing percentage is how many people you see versus how many people buy. And you've had 6 out of 8, in essence, that's like 75%. Now, that's where you are, and that's before you even learned a lot of the secret weapon stuff. Do you think you're a little bit better at selling Cutco after learning the secret weapon? Yeah, I mean, that trade special, I'm not sure if you know about this, but your class is rocking. We had 4 different people sell a couple homemakers, and we had a couple more sell galleys on the trade-in right after they learned about it. And so, like I said, your class is going to do really well regardless, but I see that you could do extremely well with this as well. So your numbers more likely will go up, but let's just keep these as conservative estimates, okay? So what that means is this. In essence, you would have to sell another 7,500 to hit the 10,000, or if you kind of went through these numbers, what that means in essence is you'd have to get about 19 orders. Or if we kind of went with that 75% or so, that means you need to do about 25 appointments. So here's the thing I want you to realize. This is the number, the 25 appointments, is the most important number. The reason why is you're going to have some orders that are going to be bigger than $400. You're going to have some orders smaller than $400. You're going to have some demos where you have a sale, some demos where you don't have a sale. Don't worry about that. What you need to worry about, what we're going to focus on from here on out, and this is how you're going to achieve some major accomplishments, is going after the 25 appointments. That's what matters, and that's what we're going to work towards. Is that cool? All right, so I want to go through a couple things for you to be able to get this. So here are some things, and this is what it's going to take for you to achieve these 25 appointments. Number one is you're going to create what I call a hit list. Okay? That's not anything bad. But what a hit list is it's like a top 50 people to see list. And this top 50 people to see list, your number one person on here, and this could be like a person who could buy like 2 Ultimate Entertainers, paid in full, no questions asked, most loaded of loaded people you got. All the way down to your number 50 person as well, down below, okay? And what you're going to do is from here on out, when you make your phone calls, you're going to start with number 1, and you're just going to make calls all the way down. And the only time you're going to stop is when you go to another demo, or when you get all the way through the list, then you'll just pick it back up. And then as you see people, you just kind of cross them through, and then put someone else into that spot as before. And this is going to be your hit list. So you're going to use this all throughout your fast start. Is that cool? I'll give this to you. All right. So that's one thing. Now, here's the deal, though. Is if you're serious about this, this needs to be completed by tonight. All right? So, like, if you don't do this by the end of tonight, although you told me, hey, this is something I want to do, you're not really making the choices to hit it. So it's not something that I'm really going to see you're really focused on. Is that going to make sense? So tonight, no matter what, I'm going to expect this done. Is that cool? Perfect. Second thing is this. Next thing that you're going to do, that's what it's going to take, is you need to memorize your close and your rec approach. All right? Those 2 things are what you're going to need to memorize right away. Do you have your close down memorized word for word, where if you didn't have your training manual, you could do it? Perfect.
think he's pretty good. Probably not perfect yet.
Okay, no problem. So what we're going to do is before you go to your next demo after we finish up, we're going to have you go back to the office. I'm going to have you go through it like 3 or 4 times. Just saying out loud. Feel kind of goofy, but don't worry about it. And then I'll get your training manual, and then you're going to do it word for word for me. The reason why is this. We have a compact, limited amount of time. So since we have such a limited amount of time, what we got to do is make sure you're most efficient. And so that means that you need to have this closed down so you can get this is the most effective way to show and demonstrate Cutco. So that way you can be the most effective possible. Same thing with your recommendation approach as well. So those are going to be 2 of the big things. The third thing that I'm also going to want you to do is I'm also going to want you to share your goal. And you're going to share, now, I guess who for you is like the person who's like your most important support structure person? Like, for instance, like when times are tough, they're there for you, and they're there to help you out. And when times are going really well, you want to share with them. Like for me, for instance, it's my mom. You know, when I'm struggling, she's the person I can always turn to and count on. When things are going really well, she's really excited. I'm really excited to share with her. Who's that person for you?
My grandma.
Great. Okay, so here's what I want you to do, is with your grandmother, I want you to share with her all of these things that you're going for and why you're going after $10,000 in your fast start. And I want you to ask for her support. Now, I don't mean like to buy $10,000 worth of Cutco for her support. What I mean is for her support is helping you all throughout the process. So for instance, if she notices like one morning you're kind of sleeping and it's lacking, to wake your butt up, get you on the phone, you know? If you know, you come home and you're kind of bummed, you had a bad day, you know, you're going to have a bad day, by the way. You realize that. So make sure she's there to kind of pick you up, you know, say, hey, you can still do this. I know you can, you know, and for her to help you through this process. So by the end of today, I want you to make sure you share your goal with your grandmother. Is that fair?
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right. Next thing that I'm going to want you to do on here is this. Is for you, the next 7 days, my expectation is you are going to be at a demo. You're going to be on the phone scheduling more demos, or you're going to be at the office. You're going to be doing one of these 3 things for the next 7 days. Okay? And you are going to work so hard for these next 7 days, okay? I'm not, by the way, after 7 days are done, I'm not going to be like, all right, Eric, now that you worked really hard, we're going to work really hard again, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But these 7 days, this is something that so few people do. 1 out of 500 accomplish this. So, since that's the case, I'm going to challenge you on this. So, these 3 things is what I'm going to expect. You're either at a demo, on the phone, or you're working to improve your skill set so we can work on improving these numbers as well. By the way, obviously, you've learned some good stuff so far. We've got a lot more stuff we can teach you. You know, whether it's selling ultimate sets or how to really market and sell cookware effectively, or how to upgrade people. There's so many things that we can teach you at the office. So I want you being on your game as well. So that's why we're going to have you come in whenever you're not at a demo or you're not on the phone. All right, and I'm going to be a real stickler on this. All right, so just in advance, I want you to know about that too. The other thing too is the way it works out as well is in essence to hitting this, since the amount of time we have left, what you need to think about averaging is about 4 to 5 appointments per day. That's kind of the attitude of what it's going to take for you to hit this number, all right? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about your schedule. All right, so now we got your schedule right here. What I'd like to first do is let's put in all of your appointments you already have scheduled with. So I know you've got, like, I think 3 for today. And then, do you have anything set up for tomorrow so far?
I have 1 tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have anything set up for Thursday? Anything afterwards? Okay. No worries. All right, so we got those. Also, what personal obligations or responsibilities do you have over the course of this next week?
I have school till 12:15.
Okay, school in the mornings. All right. What else?
That's pretty much it.
Cool. All right, you go to church or anything like that?
Not really.
That's fine. Some people do, some people don't. Okay. So we have these things too. All right, so here's the kind of thought process. Now, when we're going to put together your schedule, the first thing we're going to do is, it's kind of like, you know, like what came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, we know what came first, the demo or the phone call. Guess what it is? Exactly. So what we're going to first do before we put in demos, guess what we're going to put in? You got it, my man. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to work smart on stuff. Now, obviously, in between demos, you're making calls. However, You're also going to want to block off certain time that's really dedicated to your most efficient on the phone. And the way phone time works typically is, I'm sure you're familiar with rush hour, right?